This to make it 28-3. Arthur Blank loving it. Up by 25. Toss to White. He's in! What a comeback!
All right, welcome to another episode of the 28-3 podcast. Happy bye week.
Yep.
Great time. Nice and easy. We can't lose.
Yeah.
You can't lose either on your picks.
That's right. Well, it did not lose. Recording this the day after all the other teams played, so that was good.
Yeah, I enjoy the bye week these days. It's a welcome rest and break from watching the Saints this year.
Yeah.
So today we're going to throw it back. We're going to revisit the Derek Carr game show. We previously did this episode back in March before we had video, so you didn't get to see our reactions. But I think it's a good time to revisit it. We're 2/3 of the way through the 2024 season. I think we have a better idea of how the rookies are going to perform and how some of the younger quarterbacks are performing. So I think we'll follow the same format. We'll let Nick go ahead and drive us through the conferences and the divisions and all that. But I think this time we do take contract into consideration, and we also take 2024 season and the projection of 2025, 2026. So we're looking at a 3-year window counting the current season.
Yep. Also, look, for further context, because there's, given the, polarizing nature of Derek Carr, right? It's either he's not that bad or it's we fucking hate him, and the reasons for the we fucking hate him opinions are the better he plays, they're becoming less and less based on anything. And so we revisit this now, especially because the last 2 weeks, you could throw Carolina in there too. Since he's come back from injury, we've now got a good sample size of, I forget how many weeks it was, 2 or 3, where he was not in, and now 3 weeks of him being back in the picture. So we have a good sample size of comparison to see how the team looks with him and how the team has fared without him. Now, obviously, if he came back and just stunk it to high hell and played panicky QB and started throwing the ball with ghost pressure where he thinks someone's coming at him and he just throws it away anyway, like we saw in the Chiefs game, if that's all the past 3 weeks were, then we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But I think, some necessary context to this is that the offense has looked better. It just has. It's functioned as a whole better. Are we lighting the scoreboards up? Maybe not. Like you said last week, Nick, the Browns game was one-score game into the fourth quarter. But Carr has done well enough to show us that we're doing better with him in the lineup than we were without him. So it necessitates to us, let's revisit where we were back in March.
And also, just to clarify, we are taking into account games 1 through 11 so far. We're not only talking about the previous 2 games that we have won. We're talking about all 11 games that we have played this year.
I think it's important to say the reason we decided to kind of do this again is it's probably the biggest decision for us in the offseason on structuring him, extending him, or
cutting him,
reboot. It's the biggest decision inside, the Saints offices right now, I think. The amount of money that's involved and things like that make it coming up here in the offseason and how we approach it. I agree with Corey. To me, there's no question the level of play the offense has been at these 3 weeks, including the Carolina meltdown, as I'm calling it, from the previous 3 weeks without him. It's night and day difference. There's been no Olave. There's been no Shaheed. No
receiver other than MVS.
Right, and those have been changed in and out too. We saw Cedric Wilson a little. Then we got MVS come in 2 weeks ago. Then we got, Bub got hurt right out of the gate after his first decent game. I think the next game he got hurt. So it's been a revolving door receiver. And he's come in, and in these 3 games, 236, 269, 248, 67%, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. And the offense is moving the ball. All 3 of those games, they moved the ball down the field. Pretty efficient, no turnovers. It was, night and day from what we saw the previous 3 weeks. So with that being the case, it got us talking a lot more about Carr between us and, what path we're going to take. And I think we referenced it a little bit last week. what the approach would be or should be going forward. And not to say just because he's played well the last 3 weeks, we need to sign him to some 5-year extension or anything like that. But just kind of how that factors into where he sits in the NFL again, I think bringing it back up and circling back from what we did before the season started and looking at it today with that decision looming, and see if our opinions changed any, or, if we think we do need to go a different direction completely as soon as possible, like many fans believe.
Yep.
So without further ado, Eric, this one's for you.
Yeah.
So, Nick, start us off. We'll do it the same way as before. Just go through division by division, and then you bring up the quarterback, and we'll give us our opinions, and then you give yours.
We're going more of like
I'll track
same quick hit, yes or no.
Yeah, real quick.
We're going to skip the obvious ones out. Not skip, but we're going to just mention them and move on quickly from those.
You don't want to debate Joe Burrow and Derek Carr?
We do not.
I mean,
what about Patrick Mahomes?
How about Josh Allen, since he's the first one on the list? Y'all want to debate that?
Nope.
No, I think we'll take Allen on that one.
So all of us have Allen ahead of Carr for sure, which brings us to Tua.
Corey, you go first.
There's a few different ways you can approach Tua, too.
Yeah, so we're contract ramifications in 3-year window.
Correct.
And injury history come into play here.
Well, yeah. God. I mean, I wouldn't have said it before the season, but give me Carr over Tua.
For the next 3 years, Carr over Tua. Okay.
I'm going Tua. I'm pretty sure I said Tua before.
You for sure did.
Yeah, I'm staying with Tua, especially in his situation, in that offense. I mean, he fucking cooks in that offense.
But are we saying it'd be him and our offense?
No, I think he would cook in this offense too. The Kubiak and Mike McDaniel. I know Kubiak's not a direct offshoot of the Shanahan system, but it's kind of commingled with it. And that McDaniel's offense is a direct offshoot of the Shanahan. I'm taking Tua. Give me Tua.
Yeah, I'm just too worried about his concussions.
I agree with the concussions, and you brought up the contract. The contract is substantial.
Yeah.
It's 53.
So 53 a year compared to currently 37. That's a $16 million more you get to spend. With the injury history, this one's a close one to me. Yeah. This is kind of where the line is for me. Max is correct. In that offense, he looks great unless it's a good team or an important game, and it looks really bad. He also has 0 playoff wins, correct? So he's a very, very difficult case for me. This is probably one of the tougher ones. I believe when he's in that offense, and that if he was in this offense, his production could probably be better than Carr.
Yeah.
But I have to pay $16 million more, and
that's this year though. Because remember, Carr jumps up next year.
We're going by average. Okay, 37 is the average.
Yeah, but we're not going by reality.
No, average.
We'll go average.
The contract.
Average, yeah.
Average per year is what we're going by.
But if we're going 3-year window, we're not factoring in what they're actually making the next 2 years.
No, we can't do that. It's just a little too. We have to go average.
Because you got they can structure them however they want.
Yeah, right. That's true.
We're calling the money. The bulk of money split by the years that they're signed. And Carr's got multi-years left. I think we just go with 37 average, and Tua has multi-years left at a 53 average. So let's just call it a 16 difference on an average per year. The biggest part to me with Tua is being stuck with that contract if he can never play again. Right. I
mean, how many more concussions do you need to?
I mean,
it's like he's one hit away from being. We thought he was one hit away from being completely out of the league before the last big hit he took. Right.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
And now he's back.
The last 2 concussions, many people came out and asked the question: is it worth it for him? Like it was mainstream. You had neurosurgeons coming in and talking about it. You had all sorts of things. This one was really bad. Some people said shut him down for the season after this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm on the fence with this one.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's his decision, much like what we talked about last week with Olave. It's his decision if he wants to play. And
I'm talking about me as a boss.
Tua's not shutting it down. I'm telling you that right now.
I agree. But me as a boss, do I want... You saw how they did when he went out.
Yeah. No, not...
It ruined their season, essentially.
Right. They were awful.
So you've lost this season. He got hurt at the end of last season.
You haven't lost this season.
Well, but transposing
it's on the fence.
But if the exercise is, do we want him for our team? You transpose any quarterback going out for our team as currently constructed.
Yeah,
we're not built to withstand a loss of the starting quarterback.
No, exactly.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Like they did.
We showed it.
We would do bad.
Correct. And this is a
Most
guy.
teams aren't built though to withstand.
Correct.
So
But with that in mind, he is one
not.
that gets hurt
Right.
every year.
But if we're talking about us, we are one of those most teams.
Didn't
think-
Skyler start the playoff game 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago or last year?
yeah,
Then
he
Tua started-
gets hurt a lot. He doesn't. He's not smart with protecting himself, which is
But he took the
it's
judo
mind-blowing.
classes.
He did.
He's
got lit up worse than ever.
What's
by
crazy is
himself.
that there are examples. People showed clips of, I think this year or last year, whatever the year was after he took those classes, and he did improve, like kind of cradling himself. But it's like you can only do so much, And I think
but he got hurt running head first into somebody who wasn't even actively trying to tackle him this year. Hamlin.
that's what I'm saying. Like
And not a big guy.
You can be trained as much as you want to be, but it's football, and
I
things
think
come
the
up.
heat of the moment, he's like, I got to get this
And
first down.
also because of the nature of this sport and head injuries, and even in a pre-CTE era, there gets a point to where it really isn't your decision anymore. I mean, because your head is so squashed up on the inside that you're the one telling the coaches and team it's my decision, I want to play, is the guy who's got issues with his brain.
Yeah, but he was cleared
like-
after the 4-week stay on IR.
No, I know he was cleared,
As
but-
of right now, his brain is not mush, and he is eligible to play.
Publicly, it's not much.
Let's look
He's
at.
playing pretty well, dude.
Let's just look at stats real quick.
I'm not saying he's not playing well.
I mean, he's been lights out since he got back.
He's 70% completion over the last 2 years. Okay, I think they played one. Their games played is very similar. I think they're one or two different. He's actually had more attempts and completions than Carr, so similar type of window.
It's apples to apples.
So Tua 42 and 18, touchdown interception. Carr 38 to 12. That's neck and neck. That probably favors Carr slightly.
This is probably the hardest one we're going to have.
I think so. QB rating 102 to 100.
Who's higher?
Tua 2 points higher.
And look, both teams looked inept when both quarterbacks went out.
Right.
So that's even as well. So
Sacks taken 38 to 42. This is a neck and neck
it's neck and
statistical
neck.
thing.
This is probably the closest one.
But the
I will
biggest,
tell you one big difference. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Chain, Mostert versus the Saints skill players.
the other big difference is age.
Age too, but age and
point.
injury history. That's really tough. Because when I watch Tua in that offense, I feel like I'm watching a better player than Carr. But
The offense looks better. It's a flashier offense for sure. He's got more talent around him,
way more.
more speed.
More speed because Kamara's a better player than Achane.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
But the receivers
Tyreek's
are
a better player than anyone on those teams.
No, agree.
I'm gonna
It's tough. This is the toughest one, I think.
put an asterisk, but we're gonna come back to it. But I'm gonna go with.
That's
Corey.
fine. We can come back to this one because I might revisit.
I'm gonna put a
as
star.
well.
We'll come back to that one. I'm gonna go with Corey for now. I'm gonna take Carr.
Okay. Who we got next?
Next up, let's see.
Rodgers, huh?
Yeah, Rodgers.
I am taking Carr. I can't believe I would ever say this, but I would willingly take Derek Carr right now and for the next 2 years, all things factored in, over Aaron Rodgers, who is a surefire Hall of Famer, but has overstayed his welcome and needs to go back to whatever fucking cave he was in when he was getting all his political thoughts together.
Corey.
Yeah, no, I agree with Max. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers of today is not the Aaron Rodgers we all came to know and love, or maybe not love. But just,
I was about to say.
not love, but
I only loved him when he knocked the Falcons out of the playoffs on his
came
Super Bowl
to
run.
love watching play quarterback. Maybe.
There you go. That's good.
But he's not. He's just not the same player, and far from it. And his mindset's different. He brings with him this whole circus of himself, and then this whole
this one's
idea
easy.
of wanting to run the team.
Do they have a good roster?
And the
Yeah,
Jets.
they have a good roster.
They have
He's a one-man circus.
They
Yeah.
got the 2 rookies of the year from 2 years ago.
Right.
They've got Devontae Adams now.
Stud running back.
The only
running back,
thing,
defensive
back up.
line.
the worst part about their roster, and this is admittedly without knowing them backwards and forwards, is their offensive line. Because that
Yeah, but
was
they just spent the
I know they
Fashanu on the first round.
Yeah, I know they spent on
they
it,
signed
but-
Tyron
but-
Smith, so it's
but their skill, their offensive skill between running back, wide receivers is there. I don't know who their tight end is off the top of my head.
It's the
but-
Conklin, what's his name?
So maybe
the old
that's
Tampa guy.
maybe
He's
that's
not very good.
not great, but their defense is in terms of personnel.
honestly tight ends compared to us is a
So-
wash because they all suck on
true.
both teams. Garrett Wilson's better than Olave by far.
But the point
Devontae's
is,
better too.
the bottom line with Rodgers is he's had his chance to show that he could be better as an aging quarterback with a different team, and even this year post Achilles, he's had his chance to prove it. He hasn't.
Yeah,
that's the easy part to me. They have a worse record than us, and Carr missed 3 games, all of which we lost.
Yeah.
Okay, his roster has been, for the most part, not injured.
Right.
It's a better roster as a whole right now.
Yeah.
It's younger, it's better, and he's 3-8. So
yeah.
I don't think this one's a debate.
Yeah, this one's not a debate.
Of course, this is sacrilege even 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
like
last year it is. Jesus.
And I know there's probably a lot of Saints fans out there that would just because of
the
the
name.
way they feel about Carr say, screw that. He's clearly in a toxic environment with New York. Let's take our chances with Aaron Rodgers. He's quote Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And would say, you're crazy to say you wouldn't take a chance on Aaron Rodgers finding himself again versus Derek Carr. But the reality is, look at the paper. Like, that's where we've made mistakes as a team before, where we've had this, non-evidentiary hope or basing projections on nothing but name and
bottom line,
past glory.
you got to pick
you know,
games before names.
Yeah.
Because these names aren't always still living up to what their name was.
They can be deceiving, for sure.
Who we got next?
One of Max's favorite, Drake May.
Fucking Drake May all day. I said it before. I'm staying with it. Drake May.
This is another hard one for me to judge.
It's a tough one because it's pretty. I think Carr would edge him out for this year, but if in a 3-year window and contract, I got to go with May.
I'm taking him because of contract only, because I don't think we know yet. He's turned it over a bunch. He can sling it. You can see. We all knew the arm was there.
Yeah.
It's shown out. Like, it's there. He's turning it over a lot. He doesn't have a ton to work with, so you got to give him credit for that. But when you're on a rookie deal, if it's close, I think you got to take the guy in the rookie deal just because of the money difference.
He has by far the worst supporting cast of all the rookie quarterbacks that are starting.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, including offensive line as well. I mean, it's and the coach is awful. Fucking Gerard Mayo's terrible.
He's terrible. But we said that when he got hired. So
Yeah.
that's not a surprise to any of us.
That whole narrative that he was going to be this long-term project was complete bullshit, and I don't know why that was getting pushed, and you're seeing it. He sat for a couple of games, and he comes in and he looks fine.
It's a long-term project of an organization that's clearly proved to be Tom Brady and Tom Brady alone. Like, it's like, okay, Bill Belichick had this as a long-term project. Robert Kraft and Bill Belichick. Well, it's like the only thing they knew how to do was put Tom Brady on the field and let that dude win them Super Bowls. Like, nothing Bill Belichick did on his own.
That's a pretty bold move by Belichick at the time, though, with a $100 million quarterback that was good. And to just not bring him back when Bledsoe came back, that took some stones. You got to give him that.
Oh, yeah, way back when.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
I mean, like, after Tom left.
Agreed.
It didn't.
Well, they missed on Mac Jones completely.
And don't get me wrong. Like, when
Drake May's a different
When
animal.
I've seen Bill Belichick, the commentator, and he's breaking down defenses, it's
yeah,
beyond,
don't disparage Belichick.
No, it's beyond clear his talent as a coach and his football knowledge and IQ. Like, he's like the Yoda of football right now. Like, you cannot outsmart that man from a scheme standpoint. I don't question that. It's just that his
personnel standpoint,
his planning of organizational future does not seem to have been his forte, based on the way it's.
But I mean, again, it doesn't matter because he didn't pick Drake May. So
yeah,
Drake May was picked by the new GM and the new head coach.
Yeah.
So.
This is just another one of those tangents that we're going to get on inevitably.
That's fine. It's a tough one because you're weighing rookie contract here and you're projecting for Drake May too. You've got a guy who's looked good in games and looked bad in games, so you are projecting a little bit. He's only played 5 games?
I'm still taking him over. I'd take him over Carr this year in our offense. If we're projecting where you just switch teams, I think May would look fine.
See, I probably wouldn't do that if it was just for the last end of the year. I probably would not do that, but I think it's hard to make a case not to do that for the next 3 years.
Well, it's this year and the next 2 years. I'm taking him. I'm taking him this year. I'd take him over Carr here this year.
Yeah, I would not, but
and that's with all 11 games of Carr factored in, and all 5 or 6 or whatever that May's played.
Yeah.
What we got next?
Russ.
Danger Russ Wilson.
Now this
one's tough because of you have to project his next contract
in
because he's on a 1-year deal.
3-year window, so we're talking 3 seasons after this year.
No,
2 after this year.
2.5 seasons. 2.5 seasons.
2.5 seasons. Yeah. Now, bear in mind, Russ is under a 1-year contract, and it's only like $1.2 million. It's like the veteran minimum.
You'd have to re-sign him.
And you have to re-sign him. So
you got to assume his re-sign.
His re-sign's going to be high.
It's going to be higher than Carr based on the way he's playing.
Maybe not.
Maybe, yeah, that's a good point. It might not be.
And that would weigh on my decision heavily, where that number comes in. Because if he agrees to sign for 30,
right,
would change your opinion from 40. You want
to give an asterisk on this one where it's a.
Let's mark this down.
It's one if his contract is lower than Carr. A different answer if it's higher.
No, I mean we're not going to.
It's fair to say he has not performed as well as Carr over the last 2 years on the field.
How about we project it?
Yeah.
How about we project it to the Kirk Cousins contract? Because they're both in their mid-30s.
That's fair. Yeah.
Cousins is at $45 million average, so let's call Russ $45 million.
Okay, if we're doing that, I'm taking Carr.
Yeah.
This one's tough.
Yeah, because the thing that makes Russ look a lot more palatable right now is his contract. I mean.
No, he's also playing well.
But he's playing well.
But he's not going crazy either. He's playing well.
Yeah, it's such a bargain. If he were doing that for us at that price tag, and if we were able to bring in more depth on the roster as a result, then
hold on.
You're loving that.
No, hold on. So I think what we really need to do is, let's say his new contract pays him $45 million a year average. So 45 times 2 is 90, and then factor in the 1, so 91 divided by 3, call it roughly $30 million average a year.
What did you just do there?
I'm including the $1 million contract this year.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Which I think it's a fair thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
No, it is.
So
it's 30.
Call it a 30.
30. That'd be 30, basically.
That makes it a tougher decision.
It's close. I'm looking at.
If we call it 30, give me Russ, because Russ has won something in the past, and Russ has shown that he's had it. Yeah. Even when he was getting bagged on by everybody for how he played in Denver, he still wasn't.
And for his insanely cringe YouTube videos.
He's always been like that.
His first year in Denver was pretty bad. Last year with Sean, it wasn't that bad. That's why it was weird to me. Now, they also are kind of running the same offense they're running now, where it's all run heavy first. Even though they're not that good at it, they're kind of a second option. They got
Arthur Smith as the OC, so it's like we're gonna run, and then if that doesn't work, then we're gonna throw. Right. Or play action
3rd and 12.
If we run enough. And look, Najee Harris has actually seemed to have revived himself because he did not look that great last year.
Is he averaging over 4 a carry finally? I think he is.
I think he is. Yeah. I mean, even just watching the games without knowing his stats, he looks like he's running differently.
He does look better, yeah,
than he did last year. So that's a factor with them. But then again, if you put Russ with AK, and Russ's ability to throw the screen, to throw those touch passes is one of the keys of his game.
Yeah. Mark me down for Russ if we're calling it the 30 mil average.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Russ.
I'm not. I'm gonna stay.
Okay.
Can you do that?
I'm astericking that one too.
We can come back to it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That one's close. Okay, then we've got Lamar. Obviously, we know where we stand on that. And then we got Joe, which we all know where we stand on that. We don't even need to address those two.
Lamar and Joe on
not close. Then Deshaun. Or if you want to throw Jameis in there.
I don't care if Jameis is playing for 25 cents. I'm taking Carr over him, and I'm taking Carr over Watson.
Me too.
Okay. It's not even a question.
There's a lot, as obviously, Pub, about Jameis's performance on Thursday night, the Snow Globe game, and it's just, yes, did he gut it out in that game? Did he look good at certain clutch moments in that game? Sure, but people are just so quick to forget the big picture and how many turnovers that guy will have over an entire season. It's not that, he's not fun to watch on sound bites and stuff like that. And he'll give you a hero game every now and then, but it's just
really
that wasn't even a hero game. It was.
He will. No, he will. I mean, he'll make these crazy plays that balls he shouldn't throw get caught, and he'll run for a first down when he shouldn't run and get it, and things that are inexplicable. Just the way he plays, he'll get you a game or two, but it's over the course of
you say that, but I can't think of one big game he's ever won in the NFL. Not one. I mean, I'm being serious.
He was
with the Saints.
Well, he was our QB at the game you went to when we crushed Green Bay. Wasn't Green Bay?
Yeah,
The
it was
opener?
Green Bay, but I mean,
it was week 1, so it wasn't like 4 or anything.
I mean, he beat the Ravens this year.
Yeah.
but he threw how many interceptions that got dropped?
Well, that's what,
well, he threw one on the last drive right in their best.
That's what I'm
moment.
saying. Like, he'll play the way
And he threw
Jameis
interceptions.
plays. Like, it'll be like great and horrible to watch all at the same time because you'll see him almost give the game away, but then he'll luck out, and it doesn't happen.
Look.
So I'm just saying, we agree we're saying it a different way. Like, it's up and down, but over the course of a year, you won Carr. Like,
I say this as someone who's always been a Florida State fan growing up and was a huge Jameis fan when he was at Florida State. Mm-hmm. I say this, having said all that, he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. I know we all love to watch him, and we enjoy all of his sound bites and all of his mannerisms. And I mean, the guy is a walking sound bite. He's fantastic.
Yeah, and when he was
he's
here,
fantastic to watch.
We love him being around
he
town.
He is not a starting quarterback, and if a team is going to give him a long-term contract based off of how he's played this season, God bless him.
Yeah. Hopefully somebody does. That's not us. Because
I don't think you realize what that means. He was a mega Jameis fan.
Yeah,
Defended
the
him.
shirt. The shirt says "Witness" spelled
Defended him.
N-E-I-S.
I respect it.
Hey, man.
So that's a big turnaround. But
you're talking about a guy who's got 2 framed Sports Illustrated posters of Stetson Bennett. So
same principle.
I get it.
Same exact principle. Yeah.
the best part about
Both
this,
are idiots too.
Yeah.
neither of you even addressed Deshaun Watson. It was so obvious, and jump straight to Jameis and try to like.
That
have a
is
discussion
funny.
about-
That is funny. Well, I mean, but it's funny if you scroll down Twitter, there are people.
They cheered when he got hurt in Cleveland.
No. I'm talking about Jameis. Like, there were people who are like, did the Saints make the wrong move by keeping Carr over Jameis? It's like, no, get the fuck out of here.
What am I, one guy I've actually ended up randomly having a drink with. Love watching him on HBO, a couple different series, but Wendell Pierce. He's a man about town. He's fun to, he's worldly. He's fun to have a conversation with. He's funny. Plays insanely great characters on TV. But he was on Twitter saying, like, this is Jameis Winston. He was ours. And we blew the chance to keep him. And I'm like,
Wendell?
Right. Yeah. And I'm just like, look, I get the whole aura.
That's even after we blew him out of the building.
But it's just not. I get the.
I don't know what people are watching when they can watch those Carr and Jameis play.
They're watching with their emotions and sentimental.
I think it's more they just hate Carr that much.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
It's a whole factor of a lot of things. Yeah. But it just
either way, we're all in agreement. Yeah. Cleveland.
That one's easy.
No one from Cleveland gets the nod over.
I think Eric would take Jameis.
That's okay, Eric.
I think we need to invite Eric on here.
Yeah, you're coming on, buddy.
Come on.
All right, Stroud.
Stroud. I'm taking Stroud.
Yeah.
I'm taking Stroud too, but again, the play is not different. It's not.
I know you're down.
If you watch it, it's
you're
not
down
different.
on him this year.
Yeah,
I'm not.
He hadn't been good this year.
I think it's their offensive line is not good.
That's a bold fucking statement.
That is a bold statement.
There's just not an argument on the field for him.
Huh?
What 12 touchdowns,
he's down on
7
Stroud.
interceptions.
Right now.
Okay, but
you just ran out the back. He Orlovski'd it this weekend. He lost the game with 1 minute left, walking out the end zone.
It's hard to Orlovsky. Are you sure it was a pure Orlovsky?
It wasn't.
It wasn't a pure.
It wasn't a pure
Orlovsky.
Let's just
that's
say
even
this.
bolder than your statement of maybe choosing Field Stroud over Field Carr.
It's the closest thing ever to an Orlovsky, but it was not an Orlovsky. It was a horrible play.
Okay, so
it was a bad play. No, it was not an Orlovsky.
You can say 12-7, but Stroud is one of those guys more than others where the stats, especially this year for him, the second year, like they don't tell the whole story. And you factor in what he did last year, and you know that he's got that in him in his rookie year. So you got to think what he has in him for the next 2 seasons.
He has beat the bad teams. He hasn't really until this week. If he's held serve,
if Carr had Stroud's contract, sounds like you would go with Carr.
If he had Stroud's contract, in a second. I would ruin the debate.
I wouldn't do that either.
For $10 million a year, in a second, I would go Carr.
Really?
For less money? Yeah. I would.
Why?
Because I think the hype around Stroud, his own hype included, putting himself in the top 5 quarterbacks and all that in the beginning of the year.
He's not in the top 5.
But it was.
I just don't think.
But it was based on something.
On what?
Last year,
Rookie of the year.
His performance last year was insane, even for a non-rookie.
Why do you say insane?
It was a fantastic
He was
year.
lighting it
year.
up. I mean,
I'm not going to say. I don't agree with insane.
Tell me his year,
but it was
Corey.
a fantastic year.
Just tell me what it was.
he showed the ability to basically not have,
What do you have, like 23, 24 touchdowns and like 4 interceptions?
without even saying what his stats were.
23 and 5.
He didn't show any
Carr was
real
25 and 8.
Percentage?
gap between his college performance and his pro performance. I mean, he went into the NFL without really taking a rookie dip in terms of his command of an offense, which is you just don't find that, and it's insanely invaluable. So yeah, you could call it a sophomore slump, but I mean, just when you look at the quality of his throws, the decisiveness that a rookie has. And talk is cheap and stuff, sure, but like when you hear him break down the plays and his knowledge,
I'm not
of the
saying
offense,
he's terrible. I'm saying the hype around him is much larger than the
there's
production.
a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype. I'll give you
ton
that.
of hype. We talked about it on here that
ton
they
of-
had him
whatever-
at 6 or 7. I'm like, do y'all have him at 6 or 7?
Whatever adjective you want to put before the word hype, I'll agree with you.
Okay,
on
where
that.
is he? Where is he right now in the league, in your opinion, as far as ranking, like pecking order?
in terms
He's
of
top 15.
talent?
15. I'll agree with that. He's top 15.
He's somewhere between 10 and 15 right now.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine. I can get behind that. That's
Yeah.
not where most people view him, is what I'm saying.
Okay,
Right, but neither one of us said he was top 5.
right.
I don't think he's top 10.
I don't think he's top 5.
I don't think he's top 10. I
think
can
he-
name 9 guys easy. I
He's
can name
right
9.
on the
He's
cusp.
knocking on.
He's
He's
right
knocking
on
top
the
10.
door.
He's knocking on the door. But he's ahead of Carr in terms of playing.
For his second year knocking on the door, that's fucking
I think he's
good.
ahead of Carr in terms.
I'm
of play.
taking him based on contract, no doubt. Again, we're on rookie contract. This is not a debate of whether I'm taking him over Carr.
Even if
I'm just saying the on-the-field production the last 2 years has not been much different.
Yes, it has.
Even record-wise, it hasn't. Even record-wise, it hasn't.
I'm taking him over Carr. No questions asked.
Yeah, I need to push back on you on this one. That's why I didn't just go with that. I wasn't. I need a little more out of you.
Yeah,
on that.
he sank my battleship with that take.
And
I was like,
yeah, if the roles were reversed here, if you felt like I did about Stroud, and it was me saying, "Hey guys, Derek Carr's better than Stroud." It's the nature of this podcast.
I said if all things were
I think
equal,
I would get crucified.
I said if all things were equal, contract, age, everything, I would take Carr. Is what I said.
I wouldn't.
and that's a take. That's still a take.
I still wouldn't.
That's a big take.
And look, I say this as someone who didn't think that Stroud was going to be great
And look,
coming
look,
out of college.
if
And was
I
wrong.
didn't either. To be
If
fair,
Stroud is
I thought that.
I
But to be fair, I didn't like Bryce either. So
I thought he was going
missed
to be
on
better
both.
than Bryce. I wasn't sold on.
Did you really? You
I
really
did.
felt that?
I really did.
Wow, that's unusual. I mean, I didn't
I
like
was never
either
a big
of
fan
them.
of. I didn't.
I told Max don't draft.
I wasn't
either
buying
of them.
into the Bryce working in the pros. We've seen it so many times where college guys get overhyped. Stroud looked to be a much more fit pro QB, but
That's fair. I just don't remember you saying that.
I don't think he ever came up really.
Conveniently.
Yeah, apparently, it was just like the
Bryce came up. We
Noah
did not
story.
dive into Stroud much. When we had Roman on, we dove into Bryce pretty heavily for a half an hour.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you and Roman did. I remember y'all two went back and forth.
yeah, I was pretty down on Bryce, maybe too much. I don't know. He's played well the last 2 weeks. Good for him.
Look, I'll end it with this. I'll give you this. I think. What's the nicest way I can put it? That is a horrible fucking take. But I'll give you this. Because look, I have horrible takes, so I can say it.
I mean, last
But I'll
6
give
games,
you this.
4 touchdowns,
I will
4
give you this.
picks.
I will give you this. Okay. It's a sophomore slump, but if it doesn't get better next year, then we can bring it up. We'll put a little
Because you know how this goes. You
if
do
we're
well,
halfway
what
through,
happens?
If we're
They get film on you.
Yeah,
We talked
yeah,
about this.
Yeah, it's happening with Jaden Daniels to a degree
It
right
is
now.
100%.
So
it is.
I
If-
think
if we get to
his
this-
rib injury is hurting him more than
If we get to this point in the year next year,
And I love
he's-
Jaden, to be fair.
get to this point in the year next year, and Carr continues the trajectory he's continuing, and if Stroud takes even a little bit of a further dip or does not pick it back up, I will acknowledge it live on the podcast.
There we go. Okay.
All right.
Well, all right.
Anyway.
Stroud. You said Stroud.
I
as
said
well.
Stroud.
Yeah.
Wait.
So we
oh,
all-
because of contract.
Right.
No, I think it's close. I'm just
Yeah.
like it's very close, and the contract makes it not close. But as far as their on-field play, I think it's much closer on the field than people acknowledge. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's fair. I mean, if nothing else, you will. I know you're good for looking at absolutely every side of it. Like
And Max has
I
had
don't
to
doubt
deal with
your
me texting
analytics.
him
This isn't
about
me-
3 games I've watched
Look,
of him. I'm
this
like,
is
what
not
this
me
guy's
knocking
doing?
your analytics and not me knocking like how much you've looked at this issue, because I know you look into things way in depth. That's why you're low-key the best Saints podcaster out there. But that one, whew, But we'll see.
I'm also going to say that
interesting.
Stroud has a playoff victory. Carr does not. I'm taking Stroud under any scenario. Same contract, same age. I don't give a shit. Give me Stroud.
But anyway,
yeah,
we
I
digress.
definitely don't judge things based on playoff victory, like a single playoff victory.
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
we can move on.
I'm not judging it based on that. I'm just saying that's just another factor.
We're gonna have to do a whole episode on Stroud versus Carr.
I kind of had a feeling he was going to go there. I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just saying on-field play is very close if you look at it and you watch it, and if you watch him play.
Okay.
You've listened to me a million times. Don't act like this is new.
I didn't
I'm
say
like,
it was
what is
new.
Stroud
No,
doing?
I'm not at all surprised that you came here with this tape.
That's why text messages can only say so much, right?
No,
he knows.
No, I know. He does not like Stroud.
Yeah,
He doesn't like him.
I'm not knocking him for not liking
I would trade
Stroud.
Carr for Stroud and multiple first-round picks to get Stroud today. Yeah. There is no question I would do that. Because the chance of a 23-year-old getting better is huge.
Correct.
That is worth a fortune. I would do that.
That 33-year-old ain't getting any better.
Correct. 100%. This is Pete Carr. What I'm saying is if Stroud doesn't get better, you're looking at a similar player 10 years from now. Yeah. It's the same type of player. If 33-year-old Stroud is 23-year-old Stroud, it's Derek Carr. Did you do that math?
I'm going to go ahead and say
I got it.
Yes.
I think he missed it, but let's move on to the next one.
That's all I'm saying. Richardson. Kind of a weird one here. Anthony Richardson.
No.
I'm taking Carr.
Me too. Carr. I hate Anthony Richardson.
I don't believe in quarterbacks that can't throw.
Right.
And a guy who can't throw in college isn't going to unless I guess Josh Allen figured it out. But other than Josh Allen, a quarterback who can't be accurate in college is not going to figure it out in the NFL. And I don't believe in Anthony Richardson. Give me Carr. I don't care about the rookie contract. Give me Carr.
And look, here's another thing. I know it's one instance in one play, and this might not sound very millennial of me.
It doesn't. Tapping out? He's tired?
The tapping out as a QB when you're perfectly healthy.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, yeah.
At any point in your career, to me, is like you're done.
Not because you're hurt, because.
Not like didn't get the wind knocked out of him, wasn't hurt, wasn't like, yes, he's tired, but like, bro, I mean, like, there and everyone's like, well, running backs do, wide receivers do it. Yes, they do, because there's two other wide receivers on most plays. There's other running backs. That's what they do. They're running and getting hit every single fucking play. Yeah. Offensive linemen don't even really do it.
Well, he is,
even though they have,
he's a better running back than quarterback.
but it's like, just
Richardson to me,
it's a risk. It's like
he is Taysom Hill, a bigger Taysom Hill with a stronger arm. That is effectively what I think of him as a quarterback.
Until proven otherwise, yeah.
And I don't think Taysom ever should have started at quarterback.
The only case I know of,
we let him throw last game.
Maybe y'all can correct me, of quarterbacks that are essentially inaccurate quarterbacks in college that change that when they get to the NFL. The only one I've seen since I've been watching football is Josh Allen.
Yeah, that's the only one.
I've never seen another player make that leap from like that 51 to 55% type of passer into, like if you can't complete 64% of your passes in the NFL, you're not going to be a relevant quarterback, most likely. So
even
Josh Allen is going to get so many GMs fired over the next 10 years. And he's already getting them fired because they look at players like Anthony Richardson who
think they can be him.
Complete over 50% of his passes, and they think they can turn him into the next Josh Allen.
Who I don't know what his college stats were, but talk about small school draft pick.
Allen?
Joe Flacco, if you're going way back, Delaware, and he comes in the NFL,
but he was accurate in
college. Lights it up.
Yeah,
but it's like
but I don't think he was like inaccurate to Josh Allen was like
it's
53.
It's the changing. It's the fixing the inaccuracies, but it's also the idea that you can take a QB from a small school and make it work too. But yeah,
Max is checking what Josh Allen's college stats were. I think it was a low completion percentage. Maybe I'm way off.
56% as a junior, 56% as a sophomore, 66% as a
people. Well, here's we said it kind of like last
6 attempts.
We talked about it last episode a little bit.
6 attempts.
They're 56.2 overall for his career in college.
So you don't see that jump from college at 56.
There's so much.
Plus, when you're at Wyoming, you're playing shit teams.
Yeah, there's so much stock. Just when you think it can't peak anymore, the pre-draft hype and process and PR machine makes these guys go up even more. And Josh Richardson, I think, is an example of the pre-draft.
Richardson.
I mean, sorry, Anthony Richardson, not Josh. Josh, the NBA player, right? Anthony Richardson is an example of the pre-draft hype machine because I remember I don't like to watch Florida games. They're playing us. I like to watch us beat them, but I would watch Florida because they're an opponent of my college team.
College.
But he was also mistake prone as shit in college. He had great plays from here and there, but as a whole, I remember watching him in college thinking, I kind of want our team to play this guy because we have an advantageous defense and he's prone to give the ball up.
Yeah.
And that was about midway through that college season.
Yeah.
And then you get closer to the end of the college season and people were talking about him like a first-round draft pick. And I'm like, good night. I mean, you even had Florida fans saying, I don't know what these scouts are watching, but we're at every game. And this dude, like, is not a first-round pick. These are Florida fans who watch him every game. They're like, that's not
To be fair, he was hyped up as a first-round pick before he even took a snap as a starting quarterback.
That's true.
Because of his size and speed and
he's
arm
an
strength.
Extraordinary
and
athlete.
he's got a cannon.
Throw it 80
He's
yards.
got
Absolute
a cannon.
cannon. Yeah.
So,
okay. So
anyway,
I think we wasted enough time on him.
Nothing written. This one, Levis.
No.
I think Levis probably loses his job next year.
Yeah, give me
right?
Carr.
That one's easy. Here's one that we debated heavily first go round. I remember Trevor Lawrence.
Carr.
It's got to be Carr now.
Y'all both switched to Carr. Okay. I think I had
Trevor Lawrence's contract is disgusting.
Yeah.
He is.
And he's not playing at Carr's level
He's the
either.
most overrated.
He's definitely.
quarterback in the
Yeah,
league.
I agree with you on that play level.
Yeah.
Situation.
Okay.
Well, you and I have been down on Lawrence since
the
he
beginning.
was at Clemson.
Since the beginning.
So
Yeah.
I thought he could turn it around. I thought he was better.
Yeah, no.
As a QB, I thought he was one of these old school classic pure pocket passers who actually had some legs.
He's made more out of that
And it's
freshman
not,
year than like even after the
Agreed.
freshman year he wasn't.
Just hasn't panned out. Yeah.
yeah, I'm with you.
Easy one, Pat. We'll skip right past that. Easy one again, in my opinion, Herbert. Because
that's easy.
He's a top guy to me.
You've kind of been down on Mahomes' year this year, Max.
It's terrible.
It's terrible when you.
Do you want to talk about the play on the field of Mahomes versus the play on the field of Carr?
No, because Mahomes still, when he needs to win, is going to go down and win.
Okay.
It's also got 3 Super Bowls and 4 appearances, right?
Yeah, there's just
it's a little difference.
I'm just making sure.
Bear in mind, I was the one telling y'all about Mahomes 7 years ago. So
Mahomes' last 2 years has not been good.
Everybody's laying a claim on Mahomes after he got drafted.
you remember being at the beach when you made your donuts the year when we sat at the Phoenix West.
I know.
Yeah. All right. Anyway,
I don't think there was a whole lot of arguing with you on that, other than if they do, they do. I just like it was hard to say you knew.
Right.
No, I told you I wanted to draft his ass when he was coming out.
Because he had a cannon. He looked like the part. Like he looks like one of those freaks, and he has been. He's like, if you're talking about performance on the field, the difference in Pat is if there's a minute left and he's played like shit all game, he wins.
can turn it on.
Winning every time. Every time.
And his stats don't put him in the top 15 the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But
he's one you cannot.
how many has
It's
he
the
won?
one the stats don't tell you.
Cannot judge on stats.
Correct.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. Like if the game's tied, you lost.
Yeah.
That's just reality. Herbert Nix is next, which is an interesting one.
I'm taking Bo Nix.
That's surprising you're saying that.
I'm shocked. I am fucking shocked with myself.
I know.
I was Bo Nix's biggest critic all throughout the draft process. But I also said, I was like, I could see him being good.
I haven't watched enough of him this year, but my biggest concern with him coming in was reverting to like the mistake-prone guy, just making stupid.
He doesn't make bad mistakes.
But it looks like when I have watched him, I haven't seen that or haven't heard of that happening.
Do you
this
think
year.
Bo Nix is better than Carr today?
No.
Okay.
No.
Right. So you're projecting.
I'm
the contract.
taking the contract.
Okay.
I'm taking the contract.
All right. So
Carr's a better quarterback than Bo Nix, no question.
Okay.
But over the next 2.5 years, I could see
especially
Nix
in a
taking
good,
the
especially
step
at no money for 2
and
years.
at no money. So.
in a good system too. I think he's still, while he's young, he needs a system like.
I want to see
like
them get to the
Peyton's
playoffs. I really do, because I want to see Peyton and Bo Nix in the playoffs and see what happens. I want to see it.
Just like kind of like Peyton and Breeze had this like professor student, or even call it like big brother younger little brother.
Yeah.
It's like,
Are they in right now? They're very close, right?
They're
Are they the 6 or 7 seed?
I feel like Peyton and
so.
Nix have this like father teenage son vibe going, and it seems to be working. And yeah, I'd go with Nix given in this exercise. I'm still on the fence about.
They're in right now.
7 seed or 6? They're
ahead of Houston, 6.
okay.
There's a lot more that Nix has yet to prove or yet to show on an NFL level.
The reason I asked Max that question, I don't think he's close to Carr's level today.
He's not.
But
I agree with you.
I think you have to pick him because he's performing adequately and he's on a rookie contract, and it's just too valuable for a team.
Yeah, he's not turning the ball over. He's not seeing ghosts and making bad decisions based on pressure like we saw Rattler do. So no, give me him no questions asked.
They're 7-5.
They're in the playoffs if the playoffs start today. Yeah. So you have to.
I'm taking him, even though I don't think he's a better player today.
He's not. Well, I think we're all in agreement there. He's not a better player.
This would be a whole different list if it was like who's better right now.
Correct.
Minshew is next, or whoever you want to say. That's obvious. I don't think there's any case to be made
gotta
there.
Go Carr.
Now we're going to NFC. So that was end of
Minshew's fucking terrible. Let me just say that because I know you were a little higher on Minshew than I was.
He's kind of like
terrible.
A different.
He is terrible.
He's like a shadow version of Jameis in a way. Like,
he kind of is.
There's excitement sometimes, and people love him off the field.
The one thing, if you need him to manage a good team, he might be able to hang in there for you.
Yeah.
You put him on a bad team, you're seeing.
He treaded water with the Eagles for a little bit that year that we actually beat him.
Yeah.
He
played great. He played really good in Jacksonville before Trevor Lawrence came in, and he played good with the Colts at times last year in one game.
He's bad.
You put him on a bad team, and it's blown up. He's been terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
He is honestly what people think Carr is. People are like, Carr can't elevate anybody. It's like, no, Minshew cannot elevate anything.
No.
I don't know how that mustache stays on. That damn thing should have fallen off by now. He can't elevate anything.
What does that have to do with his mustache falling off? I get what you're saying. I mean, yeah.
All right, NFC. Sorry.
Jalen Hurts. Tons of money, but I don't see how you don't take Jalen Hurts.
I'm taking Jalen. He offers too much.
It's hard.
It's closer than people.
I think it's closer than people think because he walked kind of like Mahomes walked into a perfect situation. A team with three back-to-back 10-win seasons.
Well, especially now with Saquon, it's crazy.
He walked into a great roster, but he's also executed. He made it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
He's been top 3 in the MVP voting.
You have to take him.
I think so.
I also think he's a supreme leader, and I
do too.
I think he's wired perfectly.
With that said, I don't see him being a top 5-7 quarterback in the league. I don't see that.
I don't either. I think he's
definitely not top 5.
10.
He's
I think he's outside
well
the top
enough
10.
to be top 7 in the past, but he's still better than Carr for me.
Yeah,
all things considered.
Yeah,
it's not like.
But I'm with Max. I think it's closer than people.
It's closer
say.
than people think.
I really do.
Yeah.
Especially as he gets older, with so much predicated on his ability to run. If that were to go away, Cam Newton like, what happens to the rest of his game?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Then one of all of our favorites, Jaden Daniels, is next. I don't think there's any question. Do we even need to debate that?
Nope.
For a second. Speaking of coming out and playing incredible, the guy they have a winning record on. It's one of the worst 2 teams last year, and he's got a winning record with them this year in the playoffs at the moment also.
Mm-hmm.
Dak. This is a tough one, especially because of the contract, because it is
I'm taking Carr.
It is a huge contract.
I'm taking Carr. $60 million is the highest in the league on an average per year basis.
Yeah.
I do not think Dak is good. I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the league, if not the most overrated after Lawrence. Those 2 are the top for me. How many times? I mean, you and I have him on our shared fantasy team, and how many times have we gone back and forth this season? Like, this guy fucking sucks. I would love to find your text exchange where you rattled off like 10 straight texts, basically just calling Dak the biggest piece of shit in the league. So, and I was like, you're right. Fuck.
He is, from a fantasy standpoint, because of his ability to get the garbage yards has been great.
He's unreal in the fourth quarter when there's like 8
when
minutes
they're down
left.
20.
Yeah. He starts spraying it
There's
around.
a lot of things you could point to with him, if you wanted to, for people that really wanted to put him ahead of Carr. You could talk about the arm strength or the
I don't think his arm's not strong.
But he's not even mobile. I mean, some people say there's mobility
Dak
with
doesn't really have a
Dak,
cannon,
but he's,
dude.
he's
a.
I like him.
if he wasn't a cowboy, to be honest, like
He's a Louisiana guy too. Come on, give him a little break.
Yeah, but I mean, like, any Cowboys QB gets elevated because of their status in. Like
the only reason he's the highest paid quarterback in the league is because he's a Dallas quarterback.
If he was I don't know, like
I
not
don't
Cleveland,
like
not as bad as
even
Cleveland
if you're
Brown,
one of these people who thinks he is slightly better than Carr, the extra $23 million takes it off the table instantly. You cannot make a case for that gap in pay.
You can't.
I think Carr's better than him straight up.
I do too. But I could see people making an argument saying, no, he's led the league in passing. I get it. He's done things Carr hasn't done. But does he has one playoff win? I guess he's got
Did
Carr
they win
there.
one?
I think he won one.
Yeah, they won. I think we looked this up and they.
Yeah, he's won one.
They
with great rosters. Let's be honest.
He's always had good players. I mean, now this is 1 year where he has had like next to no ground game.
And look at the record.
And the record shows for it. You know, he's other than CeeDee Lamb. He's there's the other receivers are talented, but again, like it's the same thing like the Cowboys moniker, where it's like if those number 2, number 3 receivers were not Dallas Cowboys, no one would be talking about them.
Yeah.
You know, just because you see them on TV every week.
Yeah.
And they're on that roster cliff we're on right now too,
Yeah,
because of the big contracts and the guys getting older.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Okay, so we all said no on Dak. There's another easy one. Daniel Jones previous, if you want to call it DeVito or Drew Lock, whatever it's going to be.
Giants QB1. No.
Yes. Daniel Jones made more money than Carr and almost double the 50% more guaranteed money than Carr.
I think,
90 to 60. So that one's not close.
No.
Next, Jared Goff.
All right, this is the one I need to look at his average per year.
We talked a little bit about this last episode.
He's at 53.
16 million extra. 15 and a half. Right?
Guy, give me Carr. Give me Carr and the extra 16 in cap savings. I think Jared Goff to me and Carr, like if you put Carr on the
same
Lions,
situation.
I feel like it would be the same stats, the same winning, the same.
I'm trying to, when I think of this one, I'm trying to think of what is it that Goff does that Carr does not do to justify the higher contract. And I can't think of anything. I mean, he's a little younger, sure, but like
not much. I mean,
not a whole lot.
Already.
I mean, he's not, he's not like some youthful quarterback, and
he's made a Super Bowl.
He's definitely had more playoff success than Carr. So if you want to say you're somebody that, if you want to believe that Carr or Goff
so he's
just can just turn it on when he gets in the playoffs because he's had the success, whereas Carr doesn't have that innate like experience of feeling like the playoffs are a good thing, then maybe that's your decider. Maybe $16 million is worth it to say
he made a Super Bowl because the league doesn't know how to call pass interference.
They screwed us.
Well, yeah, but he's still won more. Even that aside,
he has.
This is a perfect case, though.
He's gotten to the playoffs. When he's gotten there, he's performed well.
When you're weighing this, you have to consider the situation the players have been in their whole career.
Yeah,
Carr had a different offensive coach. Like 7 years in a row, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Goff had McVay, then Campbell. Right?
Oh, yeah.
He went to the Lions before they redid that whole roster. They went 1-15, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah.
Was he the QB during that terrible year?
He got the win in like week 10 or 11, I think. Is that wrong? Maybe I'm wrong.
You're right. He went from McVay to Ben Johnson. I mean, you're not doing any. I mean, the only way you can do better is if you mix Shanahan in there like one year.
Right.
Yeah. So he's had a great situation for much of his career. After his first year or two, McVay came in with Gurley and all that, and the offense just immediately took off. Then goes over to Detroit, has that one horrendous year. Then Ben Johnson gets a hold of the offense, and they draft well, and they load him with weapons all over the field, and he's playing great. I give him all the credit. He's taking advantage of the good situation. It's hard for me to say he's for sure a better quarterback. It's close.
It's close.
I agree with that. It's hard to find like what's the one thing Goff can do that Carr can't do.
No,
I can't find it.
I think they're dead even as
so
actual
for $16 million extra,
but for
you say
$16
no.
million
If
extra.
anybody wants to comment on YouTube as to what that might be that I'm missing, go for it.
Yeah,
no, I'm serious. Like I truly want to know if anyone has identified.
He's another guy. I'll listen to your argument, and I probably can't tell you you're wrong if you tell me Goff's better than him. But if I have to pay him $16 million, if I can get a defensive end and Carr,
right? I can't find the $16 million delta.
Right,
because you can get a great player for $16 million.
Exactly.
So
especially with Loomis math, if we still have him around.
Oh god,
well, he can get a very average player for $16 million. Loomis is really good at that.
Maybe we should call it Kai math.
All right, Sam Darnold.
Carr.
Or J.J. McCarthy if you want to throw him in there.
Can't really say on McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm just going to say no on both for now. If J.J. came out and played well, I'd obviously take J.J. Same criteria, rookie contract.
But what's Darnold getting paid?
10.
12, I think.
10 or 12, something like that.
And is it his last year?
It's a single year. It's a
Single,
stopgap.
$10 million. It's a single year, so he's going to get paid next year somewhere, but probably around the Carr contract, if I had to guess.
If he's lucky. I mean, he's got 14 turnovers.
If he's lucky.
He's playing much better than he ever has.
Do we think his level of play this year has been the same or worse?
In my
than
opinion,
Carr's level
the
of
best
play?
coach in the NFL.
Kevin
I don't know how
O'Connell-
this guy keeps winning games.
He and I agree on this. Kevin O'Connell might be the best coach
Yeah.
in the NFL. Other than Andy Reid and Mike Tomlin.
No, O'Connell's one of the guys.
Of course.
He's one of
I think, but he is he's the most underrated coach in the league.
he's solidified himself as one of the guys.
Cousins goes down. He wins with Dobbs briefly. And he just keeps somehow making it work.
He gets it.
He's got Darnold looking good.
Yeah.
My question is, because
He's
honestly,
9-2 with Darnold.
I haven't
Forget how he
watched
looks.
They're supposedly trying to sign Daniel Jones. Like, that's how not sold they are on Darnold.
They're not keeping Darnold.
Yeah.
No way. No way.
Carr is the answer. If McCarthy were to come out and play, obviously you're taking McCarthy, but we haven't seen anything yet. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go with Carr, but I would like to have seen more of Darnold, just how he's looked this year. But it's hard.
It's
to...
good, but he's still turning it over.
Yeah.
He's a big reason they lost the games they did lose, but he's had some really good games.
Because with all the things we don't like about Carr, I mean, I do still think Carr's got issues with. He's done well this past 2 weeks. He did well with pressure. I think even though Garrett didn't have any stats really, it wasn't that the Browns weren't in the backfield. I mean, I do think they got into the backfield. Carr.
I looked up this stat. So,
okay,
where do you think Carr ranks since he got to the Saints in basically sacks taken?
Oh, he's near the bottom. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Second fewest.
But I know his
league.
QB rating against the blitz is not good either.
It's not.
So I think that this past week he performed well against the blitz, and so that's kind of. But historically with Carr, that's the one knock he's had.
How many games has he played this year?
8.
Okay, so he lights out weeks 1 and 2, pretty flawless the last 2 weeks. Had a rough go of it in Kansas City
and the Eagles.
Eagles, we didn't move it, but he didn't. I don't know.
McCoy,
He didn't have any time to throw.
He
didn't have any time to throw against
Zero.
the Eagles.
Yeah, zero.
But,
you remember that, man.
yeah.
Jalen Carter just
No, I don't know what more.
destroyed the interior offense.
Take away the interception off the helmet in the Falcons
Right.
game, and he played
No,
fine.
I mean, yeah, the Chiefs game was one where he definitely there were a
was
lot
bad.
more passes where he could have done more.
No, he was bad in the Chiefs game.
Yeah.
There's just no other way.
we couldn't protect him. He melted down. That's what happens. That's why we said all of us agreed he wouldn't come and transform a team because he cannot deal with that. That to me is the elite. Mahomes gets blitzed like that. Somehow he slides through.
Yeah.
8-yard gain, slides down, 2nd and 2. Right? Carr goes down, panics, chucks it up, whatever.
But I guess when I'm comparing Carr to the guys who seem like close to him in terms of performance on the field, I'm thinking, how do they look against the blitz, and then how are they with protecting the ball? Because the bad thing Carr does is panic against the blitz until proven otherwise. The thing he does well is avoid the sacks, probably because of the panic.
And protects the ball.
But two, like I was going to say, is that he does not throw batch style interceptions.
Right.
You see a lot of other like Dak, he will throw them in bunches.
Yeah.
You know, Carr doesn't do that. So
He doesn't.
Wait, who are we talking about? Darnold still?
we're still on Darnold. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
Darnold.
when
Sorry.
I say I wish I would have seen more of Darnold, to see,
I want to say Darnold leads the league in turnovers. That could be wrong.
So that's
I've seen enough of Darnold.
that would be the kicker to know.
Yeah.
you
No,
know?
I think Kevin O'Connell is such a good coach and is able to extract every last bit of talent out of someone, and you're seeing it with Darnold, and I don't think Darnold's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't the money gap because if we're going to project forward, he's getting more than $10 million a year going forward. What does that number? We don't know.
Yeah.
But
I'm taking Carr.
I'm
over
taking
his-
Carr regardless.
Yeah.
I don't think Darnold can win in a lot of offenses. I think he's got a guy who somehow can scheme it up almost with anybody because it's impressive.
And he's
What
got
is-
Justin Jefferson
still
and
got-
the other one.
still got Jettis.
and Aaron Jones and Hawkinson and Addison and they're loaded. They're loaded with
Addison's one he's coming.
Addison,
on.
that's the one, yeah.
I think this one's probably pretty easy. Age, even though the contract's huge. Jordan Love, you're taking Love over him.
Love all day.
Then we go Caleb. This is an interesting one. For me, I'll start this one since y'all started the other rookies. He's still a rookie contract. I'm taking Caleb. I am not a Caleb fan, but if you've got a rookie contract with a guy with talent, the gap's just too huge not to take it.
Yeah.
I don't think I need to add anything to that.
I was going to say, you can put me down.
You can mark me down for Caleb.
Put me down with the same answer.
Same exact reasoning.
Okay. Kirk Cousins.
Carr.
See, this is another really tough one.
This one's tough.
Cousins has absolutely outperformed Carr in his career, in my opinion.
They signed him for how many years?
4 for 180, 45 a year, 7.5 more per year. The guaranteed is 50% more than Carr's guaranteed money. 36 years old versus 33, so age may be a factor here.
So 45 mil a year.
That's what could give it to me for Carr, because I do think
Cousins is a better quarterback.
But he's
and has been his whole career.
Yeah, agreed.
7.5 more per year.
7.5 more.
Now
30 more.
The cap hits more because of the guaranteed, I guess.
90 guarantees.
Yeah.
So Cousins has one playoff victory, correct, against us?
I think that's his only one.
That's his only one.
But he's made it way more than Carr.
This one's.
He's made
I know I screamed out Carr, but this one's tough. It's it's a negligible difference in average per year. Fuck, give me Cousins. Well, hold on, but Cousins is 36, right?
3-year difference, yeah, because you're going to have him on contract theoretically when he's 40.
Carr's younger than Cousins?
Yeah,
3
about 3
years
years.
younger.
No,
Really? Carr's 35?
33.
He's only 33.
Carr's 33?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was 35.
No.
He's got years left. He's got 5 years left, probably.
Yeah. He's more, I mean, especially at post Achilles, we've seen, like, Cousins can't move.
It don't matter.
If you put Cousins, if you put Cousins behind our offensive line this year,
it's shown up the last couple weeks.
He's not going to be able to play as well as Carr.
Yeah,
he's not physically able to do it.
This is a really tough one. I can buy any answer here. I'm good either way.
Just come back to it.
Okay, we'll star that one for now. We'll come back. Baker, we know where Max stands.
Give me Baker.
Fuck.
I can't wait to hear this one. What do you got for me? Come on, do it. Do it. Do it, you coward.
Baker.
Yes. I love it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I said
I
there's
do not
no way.
like him. I just don't. I don't
like him.
Baker,
I don't
but-
think he's a winner either. I don't think he'll ever do anything.
But I
He's
have.
got 2 playoff victories.
Isn't he?
Two
But
different
he's
teams.
making
That's
more.
One on
not
the
doing
Browns.
But
anything.
he's making more than Carr now.
No, that's
he's
why.
making less.
That's
He's making less.
That even with the new contract, it was still less.
I thought he was going to get more money.
Making
$33
$4 million left a year.
And he's younger.
And
He's younger by 4. So it's
You got to go with Baker. I fucking hate it, but yeah, you got to go with Baker.
what I said. I believe we'll have to go back and listen, but I think what I said last year is
God.
he's going to be making more than Carr next year.
Anyone
is
who's
what I thought.
not, anyone newer-ish, my disdain for Baker has gone back to his days at OU. It's just
And his NFL career is
That's
not
why-
great.
that's why
Let's
Max
be
is
real.
celebrating.
Max can harp on the 2 playoff victories. He's had a lot of down moments as a pro.
well, no, it's not. It's not
He has a
great,
bad
but you
career.
could also say that like Derek Carr's NFL career is not great.
Agree.
either. So it's like, who's not great is not greater.
Not many people have been on 3 teams in the same season. Okay, so it's like a lot of people didn't like him. Is what I'm
To
saying.
be fair, that season started with the Panthers, and
Baker went through it.
also cycled through that team. That team's an awful organization, so you can't even count that.
Yeah,
It is an awful organization.
And he came in and won the game right off the street for the Rams.
I'll say this: if it's commercials, I'm definitely taking Baker.
Every metric, I'm taking Baker. Okay, next one.
Not in preaching, church services. I think Carr's got him on that.
Baker's second to Peyton Manning when it comes to commercials in my book. Mahomes is terrible in those goddamn State Farm commercials.
He didn't do anything. Really.
Peyton Manning is the GOAT.
That's one of the most surprising things
Yes.
in sports.
No, it's
His
amazing.
No one can touch it. It's not even close.
Yeah. Okay.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton.
Peyton.
Bryce Young.
It's Peyton.
Bryce Young. God damn it.
Carr.
Yeah.
I think it's hard to take Bryce Young even with the rookie contract.
He hasn't shown enough.
It's been that bad.
He hasn't shown enough.
Now,
I give him credit.
To be fair,
Saw
the
some
last
chop-ups.
couple, since he got reinserted into the lineup,
Yeah, he's looked better.
he has looked pretty solid.
There was someone chopped up some throws from the game last week versus KC, and they were like, these are dimes. And I looked, and
It might be his best game as a pro.
they were dimes.
Yeah.
I watched
Confirmed.
half of
Certified.
that game. He made 2 throws as he was getting hit, and it looked like he threw him 40 feet in the air. Like he didn't have the arm to get it there, and it was perfect.
And they got there.
It was perfect.
I don't know how that has happened, but
Yeah. This is one that might change.
right. If you were going like this literally this
exact
past
moment,
Sunday,
I'll take Carr. But if you're going
like,
off
of the very last game.
I'm not changing the stance.
Then maybe
I don't think I don't think he's really truly figured it out.
No,
I think he's played well.
Either.
No. Carr. It has to be Carr.
Yeah, for him, I hope he does. He seems like a really great guy.
Really good guy. Yeah.
I'm rooting for him. You've got 3 wins in like 25 starts. So
to be fair, that is the worst organization in sports.
It is a toxic.
And who's right there with them over the last couple decades? The Raiders.
Yeah.
Horrible franchise. Yeah. Horrible. Yeah. So
I'm going to say
same situation they went into.
The only acceptable answer in this one is Carr, but this one could turn into a debate. This time next year, I'd like to revisit it and see where we're at.
I hope it does. I really does for him.
Look, as long as Carr performs well enough to be our starter, we're gonna keep having this. Because
we will twice a year.
It's a thing.
Here's another interesting one. I think Geno Smith.
Carr.
I say it's interesting because he does make $12 million less. He's older by a year.
What are his stats?
He's been bad this year, dude.
He doesn't match Carr at all. It's bad. 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions.
Yeah, he has not been good.
He does lead the league in passing.
Now, he's got weapons. He's like
another one. He's like a throwback to Jameis.
He's got 3 receivers better than our receivers.
Throwing for yards and yards and yards. And
no, he was efficient the previous years. This year, 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's bad.
That's what I said. That sounds like a Jameis year. Like to lead the league in
with
yards.
With Metcalf, Lockett, and Jackson.
To lead the league in yards
and
have
Walker.
A 1-to-1 interception ratio. That's what sounds like vintage Jameis to me.
Right.
Tight end's solid. But Noah Fant, right?
Yep. They got another one too that they drafted that plays a bunch.
Yeah.
The lesser contract, but I mean, I gotta go with Carr.
I gotta go Carr. Carr's a better player than Geno Smith.
Yeah,
he just is.
I love the resurgence Geno had. From basically being.
I think he definitely deserves to be.
He's a starter in the league.
He's absolutely a starter.
Yeah,
but
I will not knock him. I will not take that away from Geno. But
man, that supporting cast is strong.
Yeah. We end on 3 really good ones. To me, 2 aren't a debate. 1 is. First one's Kyler.
What's his average?
That's a big contract, man. I think
46. So
9 more a year, almost 9 more a year.
What's their record this year?
Are they 6-6?
They're got a winning record. They're leading the division.
They just lost a bad one. They're 6-5. 6-5. They're +8 in the point differential.
I'm taking Kyler.
That's turned into a really bad division somehow.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyler on this one. I think
they do have a pretty good win against the Chargers on their resume. That's kind of it. Caught the Rams when the receivers were hurt.
Beat the 49ers.
Caught the 49ers with no CMC and no Debo right there.
Was Tua playing when they beat the Dolphins?
No. Tua wasn't playing when they beat the Dolphins. Jets and Bears. Lost to Seattle 10-6. He hung 6 on Seattle, which is...
I'm taking Kyler. Look, he's fucking dangerous, and when he's on, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
You two would having small kids. I mean, it's like watching a kid steal something and run off, and you're trying to chase him down. Like when he gets going.
Yeah, they go in Kyler Murray mode.
I'll say if Kyler was cheaper than Carr, I'd take him.
It wouldn't even be a debate at that point.
What's how much?
He's
more?
He's about
$9 million more a year, almost $9
million. A little bit
more.
less than $9 million
on the year, just for stats purposes.
I'm looking. He's
12-4.
He's almost 70% completion. He's only having 4 interceptions. Yeah, he's taking
23, only 213 yards a game, but he has run it for 380.
Yeah, he's taken 20 sacks, but a lot of that is because of his style. I'm sure.
Yeah, give me Kyler.
Injury risk. Small guy, been injured twice.
He's thick though, bro. Yeah, he's not Bryce Young small. Like he's thick.
But he's been injured. So, 2 of the years he missed a big chunk of the year? Is that right?
Yeah, but what was the injury?
I don't know.
Oh, he was out for a whole year. Did he have an ACL?
So that's a freak injury. I mean, that's not a...
I don't remember how it happened. If that's what let's see. What's his career stats? How many games did he miss from year to year, Corey? You have that?
No. I mean, I'm gonna go with Kyler.
6th year in the league, 17,000 yards.
I'm gonna look up. We'll see what it is. See how many games he missed.
He played 11, 8, 11, 14. First 2 years he played all the games. Since then it's been 14, 11, 8, and he's played all 11 this year. So he missed 2, 5, 7 in 3 straight years.
Yeah, I mean, but Carr gets hurt too. He missed a few games in Oakland.
Not many. Go look at it. He doesn't miss many games. That's not true.
The most injured he's been is
he's missed 3 this year.
But overall, I'm going Kyler.
I'm going Kyler.
The 4 interceptions through this point in the year is
he doesn't turn it over. His whole career he hasn't turned it over.
That's insanely valuable, especially for a guy that plays like that.
He's dangerous. You got a game plan for his ass.
The 380 rushing yards from the QB position is, and for a guy who's not
Yeah.
always trying to run the ball. To average 213 passing while having that kind of rushing statistic is
yeah,
to me,
he always slides too. You never see him take any big
while
hits.
keeping the INTs low. Like that's impressive. And I think he's only going to get better as he matures.
I think so too.
Yeah. So give me Kyler.
Who knows?
I like him because he actually slides. Like he runs and he slides.
Yeah.
You never see him take that
I think
just
he's a smart
direct
QB.
hit.
Like,
he's the opposite of Tua, and you never see him just get crushed.
Yeah.
It's not a Call of Duty tournament. We did say that, right?
I mean, he's not a very large target.
Is that the one he plays?
To get
Yeah,
him.
he
You know,
loves
like
it.
there's only so much of him you can hit. He's
I
tiny.
can't. He's way younger, so I'm gonna say okay to that. 27 years old is a big difference. I don't know that he's gonna get much better, but he's probably
will.
similar now, if not better. He's definitely harder to defend. So
I mean, 12-4 is fantastic. So I think he gets a little bit better. I don't think he's going to take some giant leap where he's the best in the league, but I think he can get a little bit better. Who's next?
Stafford. This is a good one for what's the contract on that?
This one's tough because Stafford is looking old.
Man, he threw some stuff last
No,
night.
he can
that
still
blew
sling
my
it.
He's been
but-
slinging it this year. He's still.
No, I mean I literally meant like looks old in the face. I saw him on the sideline. That motherfucker looks.
He's got a gray beard, man.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He's making $40 a year, so you save 2.5.
Not much. Yeah.
So basically, an identical contract. Stafford is how old?
He's got to be 36, right? What is he?
37, I'm going to guess. 36, 37.
He
said he was 40. He's 36.
So he's 3 years older.
That one's easy for me because he got to Georgia when I was a sophomore.
So he's okay. So 3 years older.
I think you're overthinking this one, Max.
Yeah, give me Stafford.
Yeah.
Maybe I was a junior.
I am
This is
overthinking it. Give me Stafford. Yeah.
Stafford's a better
I
player.
don't know. I don't know what I was thinking there.
Stafford can do things on the field that Carr can't. That's
Stafford
just,
is one of the best arms ever.
Yeah,
Give me Stafford.
it's just reality. He's won a Super Bowl
won a Super
now.
Bowl, yeah.
He shook off that early career for another terrible
Thank
franchise.
you for waking me up there. I don't know what was going on.
He might have more.
You just got mad when Stafford got traded to the Rams, and you had trouble.
I loved him
recovering.
before that. I hate the Rams, and I
Well,
just
two
can't-
things with Stafford. I mean, his mentality is just better.
We don't even need to
Like
get to this.
it's
He's a better player. Period.
yeah.
I think that's obvious. Yes, he turns it over more, but he also creates more. So I think that's easier than.
Yeah.
Last one on the list is Purdy.
Before this year, it would have been a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But I mean, is his play this year? Do you chalk it up with all the injuries, the lack of weapons?
It's not as bad as you think if you look at it. But
I mean, not having Debo and Ayuk
Right.
for a significant amount of
and
time,
CMC for the first 8 games,
and
9 games.
CMC. I mean, they had decent backups, like the one that Max had on his fantasy team,
Who would that be?
Mason.
There we go.
What's his first name?
So Corey,
Jordan?
261 yards a game, 8.5 average, 13 and 8.
See, he's been more interception prone this year. Like 8 interceptions compared to what Carr's done was that double?
Yeah,
I'm taking Purdy. I've watched him enough now to where I think he actually is good, and he's not a product of the system. I think he actually is a good quarterback.
Yeah, I think. Well, you know what? Too, I'm looking. Well, he's had 10 games played. He's had 267 rushing yards.
No, he's athletic as shit, dude.
I'm just telling you, like this is a no-brainer to me.
It's a
This
no-brainer.
one's-
Give me Purdy.
You're saving $30 million for a year, for two more, for this year and next year,
Contract.
and then you're going to re-sign him, and it'll be a huge contract. But
No, you're only saving it this year.
This year,
and next
because
year, his
no,
fourth
He has to
year.
get
because
paid.
he was the last pick in the draft, so it's only a 4-year contract.
he's got to get paid next year.
Right. So
They're
next
going
year,
to pay him this offseason.
but next year you're getting at that cost still.
No.
They're going to extend him.
In theory, yes, but the
Oh,
average per year is
yeah.
going to go up substantially, though.
Correct. But you're going to get one more year of lower. They'll extend him out past that heavily. They'll do it this year so he knows he's protected.
Right, but the signing bonus will hit on the cap, so the average will be. Either way, I'm still taking Purdy. I'm taking Purdy.
This one's Purdy.
Is that an off year compared to his surprising standard? But
it's not even an off year because if he just cuts back on the interceptions going forward for the rest of the year,
it's not even interception. He's on pace for the same interceptions. It's
right. That's my point. If he just ramps up the touchdowns a little
right.
bit, it's going to be a 20-something. And
maybe it's more that the team has been so
they're struggling.
Off that
they
it makes it look like
they've been annihilated by injuries.
And the defense has not been the same. It's been a lot of things, but I don't think he's played poorly. I've only watched 2 games of his.
No,
to be fair.
You couldn't say it's poor. No.
Right.
I think he's legitimately good.
I do too. And he's 24 years old.
He's older than that. I don't think he's a product of the system.
He can't be that old, but
he's 25.
25 years old. That's 8 years.
You got to go.
You've got a little money benefit for a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's played.
He is about to
in a Super Bowl.
And if you're going extremely technical, then he's coming to a team where currently ROC was his passing game coordinator.
Yes.
So
I think
there's familiarity.
But I do think Carr could perform in that system similarly.
He's in it. I mean, he's in it.
Agreed.
Now, and he's performing
but
pretty
for our
well.
Purposes,
right.
For our purposes, it's Purdy.
But
it's Purdy when you factor in 8 years and some saved money.
Carr's not outshining Purdy to the degree to where you would say, "Don't give me the younger guy with the much lower
That's
contract."
Where I'm at.
I don't think he's outshining him at all things considered. I mean,
or not at all. Yeah.
He's one of those ones in the neck and neck, and for all those other benefits.
So who do we need to circle back?
He's less turnover prone, if anything.
I wanted to circle back to Tua.
I'm the only one that took Tua, right?
There was one more recently that
because the only reason I'm circling back to Tua is the injury risk. I would still take Tua for the more money because of the reduced age. That's where I'm at. But when you see it year in and year out with the concussions, I think that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna flip. I'm gonna go Carr. No, the injury risk is real with him, and
I think I'm gonna stay Carr too.
Same.
Because he's now paid. If he wasn't paid, if you're still in the rookie deal, it's Tua easy because you're not invested $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah,
and if he was even,
I'm flipping. I'll go Carr.
Even being one concussion removed is different. You know, like
I hate it. I'm higher on Tua than he is, and I really think Tua's a good quarterback. But that concussion, he's just seeing how he ran into DeMar Hamlin in that game and lowered his head. It's like he's something's not right with him on how he approaches these runs. He shouldn't be running at all. But
he shouldn't. He needs to do what Peyton used to do. Just chuck in the ground, fall down.
Yeah, Marino did the same shit when he couldn't run.
But anymore. He thinks he can run sometimes, or he thinks he can scramble. He's a poor getting out of the pocket, and he's poor.
But for someone who's done it his entire career, that's
how he got hurt at Bama. It's trying to escape the pocket.
It's
he got his hip
impossible to shake.
Oh, God, I forgot about the hip injury.
So he's going to have a bad hip by early 30s probably.
He's going to have that Ramczyk hip.
Yeah, he can mitigate the risk. He can run less, but
he can't run at all. He has to do the Manning, Marino, just go it down.
That's what he has to do, but I'm saying for a guy who's been playing one way his entire career, like when he sees...
Well, he has to change. He just has to.
And he'll do it to a degree, but there will always be...
No, I don't know if he will.
...a play.
Yeah. I don't think
it's impossible for him to ever truly 100% eliminate.
It's that Polynesian spirit, sir.
Well, or anybody. When the grass opens up and you have been a running quarterback at any point in your career and you see daylight...
But he's not a running quarterback, and he's never been a running quarterback.
Scrambling.
He's not a scrambling quarterback.
He's had scrambling ability.
He was never a
at
scrambling
Bama, he got away with it getting out of the pocket.
He got out of the pocket. He was never a run-first quarterback. He was always
I'm not saying run
first.
first. I'm just saying, like...
But he wasn't a scrambler. He just wasn't. I mean, that's
either way.
Yeah.
But he's not going to change.
He can't do that, and he keeps running into these concussions year in and year out. This is not a one-year problem. This is now 3 years in a row. We've had where he basically seizes on the field.
I don't even think we need to go into this anymore. We've established that.
Really bad.
All right, the other one, circle back to, was Russ.
At $30 million, I'm sticking with Russ.
What's Russ's age? He's got to be a little older.
35, 36, I think.
Well, he's got to be older, right?
36, I would say, because he was 2012 draft.
He's 35.
35, so 2 years.
Oh, he actually turns 36 in this week.
Okay, so
he's
so 2
that's tough. 30 mil, 7 and 6. Give me Carr.
Yeah, you're going into his 37 season and giving him a big deal.
What did I go?
Probably
give me
not.
Carr. Give me Carr.
Who'd I go with?
I'd rather.
You went Carr. I think I didn't have you circled. I only had Max circled for Russ.
No, I'm taking Carr. So flip me.
All right, he's flipping. So no one's taking. I think this one's very close again.
It's close, but Russ is old.
Okay.
And he's not. And the savings isn't going to be that much. It's going to be pretty comparable, contract-wise, I think, once he gets his new one.
I think I was going Russ.
You want Russ?
Yeah.
Okay. Corey's going Russ.
I think that's what I was
What'd you take?
saying before.
I stayed with Carr, but borderline. I think it's close. And I like Russ more than most. But I think that's a very close, and I think they're going to make the same money next year. And he's 3 years younger.
Yeah.
Russ has a much better legacy. There's no question.
It's not even close for career anything. Yeah. He's a much better player overall. But
Yeah, it's a close one, but
Okay.
Like
You've got Russ, Max, and I stayed Carr. It's fine. Last one was Cousins. We couldn't decide because of the money and the age and the injury.
Jesus.
We all say Cousins a better player slightly, but money, age, and
over time, I'm going with Carr.
I'm going Carr too.
Okay. If it was,
if
it was 3 years, like who should be rewarded for their last 3 years, then Cousins. But going out 3 years,
going out 3 years in the contract.
Yeah.
So before I count it out, where do you think you had Carr ranked? What's your guess?
I'm gonna guess around like 19.
18
or 19.
Guess?
I'm gonna say 17.
I'm gonna say I said 15th. All right, Max.
Do you have us from what we had last time?
Yeah,
okay.
We'll go back to that as we close it down here. Max had him 19th. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 quarterbacks better. You had him 17th.
Okay.
Corey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Same as Max.
Yeah.
You nailed your number too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Should have made that my lock.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I had him 16th. So we're all right in the same spot. We're one. I think Russ or the Russ debate and the two. Well, no, we all sided to
Russ and Cousins could have.
Russ and Cousins could have swayed it. Right. To go back to before the season,
and he's the 17th ranked QB on this list, salary-wise, average.
So he's right where he should be.
So he's right where he
Which
should
was
be.
the whole point all along.
Just make me the Carr barometer.
Correct.
Why don't you? But or us. I mean,
it actually would be 18 if Daniel Jones were still on here.
So we did not overpay him, guys.
Now, the March list, which you're about to pull up, this was actually pre-draft. So we were even with the rookies. Like,
we put them in there, though.
We still put them in because we just assumed what they would be.
Yeah. I was in the 20s.
Okay, so I had him 17, so he's only moved up one spot for me.
He's moved up like 4 for me, I think.
You went from 21 to 17, so 4 spots.
4 spots, okay.
Corey went from 19 to 17. 2 spots.
That's about
closer.
fair. That's fair.
So
I just love that you and I had him at 17 just now. He had him at 16, and he's the 17th highest paid quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, it's the ultimate, let's just, as Saints fans, just take a step back, look at it from 30,000 feet, look at the way the team looks.
There's a half dozen contracts on our resume right now that are worse than Carr's contract. Don't look at the money.
Right. What we have to work with as a team, and just call a spade a spade. Like, Carr is the ultimate and is what he is quarterback. And I know that sounds like a cop-out, but it's just like no one is trying to say that he's top 10. I mean, there might be some people like the bots on Twitter and some like Carr one of one type people who
he's right
just
where
die
he should
behind
be
him.
Right where he should be.
On our list, but he's with the ability to have a top 10 season. That's who he is.
Look, and the good thing is there should be no more rookie contracts other than Purdy possibly going out this year because all the rookies from the 2021 class were awful.
And that's the thing, when you have a middle-of-the-road quarterback, they have games where they outplay their ranking, and they have games where they underachieve. So we've seen that in the Kansas City game. He played like a 20-something quarterback. And then he'll have other games like Carolina, Dallas.
But also keep in mind, we all put a number of people ahead of him that aren't performing at his level right now due to contract and age. Correct. So he is actually performing at a level higher than where we have him ranked.
You mean statistically?
There were a few, though. I think it goes both ways, though. It probably averages out.
That'll average out.
He's still 16, 17.
But it's like the play on the field thing, like the Stroud conversation. You know, like you might take a guy, like you think one is playing better on the field than the other, but for purposes of this ranking, you're taking the other one.
Correct.
You know?
So, yeah.
So that's a thing. But I just don't think, like, the situation with Carr is not a must exit now situation that so many people are making it out to be. It's not a must exit. If you tell me that we decided tomorrow to trade him for for a decent amount of assets in return, am I going to be heartbroken or think it's like the worst thing we've ever done? No. But it's not something that just has to be done. It's not just some horrific situation that we just have to get out of.
Yeah, you're not hitting eject on a terrible contract.
Some toxic situation. It's not like, like the Browns might have that with Deshaun Watson coming back.
Yeah.
Like they got to figure it out.
Daniel Jones situation.
Daniel Jones.
Different situations.
It's not that. But people are talking about Carr like that. And
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. We forgot somebody.
You're looking at me like you got that crazy look in your eye, Max.
We forgot somebody. Get your pen out.
Corey Mull.
Spencer Rattler.
That's true. Where's Rattler?
Oh, Lord.
Well, no, I bring it up because there is a large contingent of Saints Twitter.
Don't bring your pen out. It's Carr. Right. I mean, Rattler showed us enough.
You don't want to talk about this?
I talked about it before he had the performance he had this year. And based on what I saw on the field.
Okay.
He admitted he was wrong. That's what he said.
Yeah, I mean, look, the potential.
Just even on the rookie contract?
The physical skills are there, even on the rookie contract.
Okay.
But he has
look
shown us.
Look at the camera and say that.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's Carr.
I think you also admitted.
Based on what Rattler has showed us in his two performances.
You're now willing to take a first-round quarterback. You've admitted that.
Yeah.
Right? He admitted that a couple episodes. So
cool.
We're good.
Yeah, I said it before. But the thing is, like, if Rattler
Man, I got that, and for you to pick Baker over Carr?
This is your Christmas come early for Max. But, yeah, I mean, if Rattler was even a little bit better, right, in his starts, then I would say he's close. Okay, but he's not close. He's just not. Could he get there? But it's not going to be next year.
Look at you got a 6-game window, 3-3.
So if
essentially the same players on the field.
For purposes of this exercise, if you want to throw Rattler in there, we're talking about the remainder of this year, next year, and the year after. It's not there for Rattler.
It's not.
Okay.
So the whole exercise was going forward. We've talked about extension real quick. Last piece of this episode. If they have to extend him, where Max said we were talking about this beforehand. Max said they were going to have to throw some more money at him to add a year if they do extend him.
Well, restructure.
But he thinks you're going to have to add a year, obviously, in money if you do that. If so, what's the threshold of money for that add-on year that you're fine versus not fine?
I mean,
I hate it because they're going to have to restructure him if they want to re-sign just about any of these people that are free agents. Like, basically the options were you could cut bait on Carr this offseason, but then at that point you have to renegotiate literally everybody else that has a contract that you can extract money from just to make it work on the cap. So under that scenario, the best thing for us is for Carr to stay here at least another year, renegotiate renegotiate his deal just a little bit. Just don't add too much to it.
I don't really want to add. I mean, I don't want to add anything. I know that's not realistic. I'd almost rather.
They're going to have to go to the bank of Carr.
To me, it's a break glass in case of fire situation. I really don't.
Well, they're going to have to break it. Do you want? Okay, time out. You know what the alternative is?
If we don't touch it,
the alternative is you need to renegotiate like Cam Jordan.
Yeah, no, you can't do
Honey
that.
Badger.
You can't do
DeMario Davis, Eric McCoy, probably Granderson, probably Ruiz, which basically is going to tie all of those players to you
forever. Right.
So that's the alternative.
I'll tell you where I stand, and y'all can just tell me you're an idiot or not. If he'll add another year, which it basically ties us to him for 3 more years. Correct? Because we're on to...
He's on...
he's tied to us effectively right now for
next year. Next season. And
so you tack on probably 2026 if you...
Dead money...
But what's the dead money? Because if we tack on a year...
That's all going to change.
Pre-June 1 is 50.
Look at post-June 1, though.
But if we're going post-June 1, 21 mil... No, I'm sorry, 22 mil.
No, this is what you got to look at. The savings on the right column, far right column.
Dead cap money. Right. So it's 10 million...
Right, but that is all going to change if they have to renegotiate him.
Right. The $10 million is the roster bonus or whatever that we would avoid if he were to move
Correct.
on. So
the reality is he's tied to us right now for 2025 under the current setup, most likely.
And it makes most sense to keep him there for that anyway.
But if you renegotiate him, you're most likely tying him to us for 2026 as well.
I'm fine with that as long as the contract does not go up past $40 million because it does not hinder us from drafting a quarterback. It does not hinder us from going to find even a new quarterback if some crazy situation like Russ happened again.
Yeah.
I think it leaves us leverage to have a solid starter. And if there's a quarterback there in either of those two first
take 'em.
rounds, you take them.
Yeah.
And if they sit a year, fine. If they sit 2 years, fine. Not the end of the world. If there's a guy you like, we all know the status of this draft, that we all believe there isn't that guy that we're going to be falling in love with as far as a quarterback, especially where we're picking. So this year's probably a punt on that anyway.
Yeah.
So sign him for another year. Draft a quarterback. He sits a year. Pat Mahomes sat a year. Aaron Rodgers sat 3 years.
Jordan Love.
We are free to do whatever we want with that first round pick still.
Yeah.
So I'm totally fine doing it. I don't want to see an additional year at $55 million.
No.
Some craziness like that. Same type of money.
If it stays around 37 to 40, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Yeah, I mean, so he's due 30 base plus the signing bonus.
his cap figure's 51.
51 next
million
year.
as it currently stands.
So we're obviously not going to cut him before next year. But if he plays out
You
next
can though. They still can.
we won't.
But they
the
most
dead
likely
money,
And we should.
and the dead money would be 21.
the dead money would be a lot next year.
No,
But then it
it'd
would be
40.
off.
It'd be 41 of the 51. The 10 is the only savings you get, I believe. Is that right?
No, the other stuff would accelerate. So his dead money
Post-
would be like
post-
60 million.
Oh,
No,
I
it's
thought
like-
it was 41.
It's like 6. If they cut him in the offseason, it goes to like 60.
Okay. All right.
It's very detrimental.
He's not getting cut, in my opinion. And there's no reason to. There really is.
The way we're going, I have this feeling Rizzi's going to be here next year, and if that's the case, I think Carr's staying.
We're only you're right. I mean, if you look at the two columns, it's I mean, the way I'm reading it, if we cut him, would it really only be 10 million dead money if we cut him this
You
year?
have to accelerate all of the other
The rest.
the whole dead
You're
money
responsible for
column.
everything after that year,
All of
too.
that gets accelerated to the cap if they cut him.
Yeah, so 51, 60.
It's like 60
We're
billion.
looking at post 2026 to cut him at an affordable, quote unquote, dead money rate of like 17.
You're saying 26. See, I thought we were
after 26.
That's what I thought. You're saying after 25, it's not that bad, Max? What's
No,
the
no,
number?
no. After 25, it's bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so after 20, so if you're tying me to 25, 26 by restructuring him and pushing him out and adding 40 to the contract, so you get essentially whatever
But
that shakes out to,
He's got
fine with it.
no guaranteed salary.
Correct.
Of
So
20
after
It's how we
2026.
structured it.
But
Right.
his base
under the current setup,
but his base is 50.
under the current setup, it is very palatable to cut him after the 2025 season.
Yeah.
But once you restructure him, then that goes out the window.
Right.
I'm keeping a decent quarterback until I have another decent quarterback, is my point. Now, I don't want to sign him to 5 years, but if you got him for 2 years, all of your options are open. You can do anything.
That's why it's important not to, I mean, find a way to keep him at the same rate. You know,
Right.
don't give him more. I don't think he's proven, he hasn't done so well to say you should get more money as you age.
He hasn't, except the market has gone up since he signed.
The market's gone up, sure.
Where would he go up to, Max? Like,
So the cap charge if they trade Carr would be 40 mil because you would avoid the $10 million roster.
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
That's a trade though, and he has a no trade clause.
Right.
So more than likely he ain't going to do you any favors, just like he didn't do the Raiders any
Yeah,
favors.
I mean, we're locked up with him.
So you'd
for
have to cut
for
him.
next year, and so even the year after that, like you said, might be palatable.
The only decent
After
starter
2025?
in the league that's paid less than him, other than rookie contract, is Baker. It's the only one.
Yeah.
Oh, he does have an offset. Carr does have an offset in his contract. So if they did cut him and he signed for another team, and let's say you got $10 million,
We'd get that money back?
hypothetically, you get that money back.
Okay.
So
Which
okay,
one?
no, I mean, he's more than likely with the team, especially if Rizzi ends up being.
I think so too, and I think it's the proper decision after you got to see a little bit of Rattler. Obviously, he
Definitely.
needs more time. The guy's not in the building.
And the next quarterback is not in the building.
I'm
in my
fine
opinion.
with him being on the team next year, and what I don't know about is 2026, and then what I don't know about is the restructure at all.
I don't want him on the team in 2026.
I can tell you this, Corey. If they have a better option in 2026 free agency,
But he's got a $50 million cap hit next
but
year.
if they have a better option in free agency, they're Daniel Jones in him. In
Yes,
26, they will
correct.
just eat it
They will
that
just
year
they'll
instead
eat
of
it at
this
that
year.
point, yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
not hindered by extending him 1 year. Is my point.
You're really not.
Or you can draft that guy in the first round and tell as soon as he's ready, tell Carr, sorry, bud, last
Yeah.
year here, get on the bench.
Right.
You're not hindered by anything.
Yeah, 2025, I'm fine with him back. 2026, I don't want him on the team.
yeah,
But
it's a overstay your welcome situation at that point.
But would you give him the extra year on 26 to not restructure everyone else, to have him in your pocket if you need him in 26?
I'd
with
have to
the
see
flexibility.
I'd have to see what the if we picked up another quarterback in 25 or 26.
Yeah, it depends on who else we got.
It depends on that part would change.
Because we know it's not coming in free agency. It's the rarest thing in the world.
It's not coming in free agency.
It's going to be
Get the draft. Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Well, I think we've talked long enough about this.
We haven't done an hour and a half one in a while.
It's been a while. So
Yeah,
the good news is takeaways. 17th highest paid quarterback in the league currently. Now that Daniel Jones is off of the book, so he's not on that list. 18th if you include Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
And you and I had him at 17. Nick had him at 16. So appropriately paid.
The other bottom line is Derek Carr is talked about like much more of
like
of a problem that he is. There's a lot more more pressing, much bigger issues on the team that need to be addressed before the QB position. Now, the QB position needs addressing because of the salary implications. But in terms of making this team better, it's not looking to QB first. Look elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
So before we go off on any more tangents, I think we should go ahead and wrap this one up.
Yeah,
Eric,
we're always at risk for that.
This one was for you. Hope you enjoyed it.
Sorry, Eric.
And if anyone's curious who Eric is, we've referred to him like 5 times now. Just DM us. We'll send you his cell phone. Blow him up.
There you go. Email too. Anyway, thank you for listening to this extremely long edition of the 28 to 3 podcast. We'll see you next time. Who dat?
Who dat?
What a comeback!